The U.S. General Services Administration, GSA, in cooperation with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, commonly referred to as FDA, would like to welcome you to the public scoping presentation for a proposed master plan for FDA's Muirkirk Road campus, or MRC, located in Prince George's County, Maryland, in the city of Laurel. GSA is preparing an environmental impact statement, or EIS, in accordance with the requirements of the National Environmental Policy Act, NEPA. GSA will be the lead agency for the EIS's development, with input from FDA as a cooperating agency. My name is Marshall Popkin, and I am GSA's NEPA compliance lead for the FDA MRC Master Plan EIS. We thank you for taking the time to view this presentation and welcome your comments and feedback on the proposed master plan and EIS. In carrying out our environmental and socioeconomic analysis responsibilities, GSA is committed to ensuring we provide proper consideration to the quality of the natural and human environment. Scoping is an important opportunity for you, the public, to provide your comments on the proposed MRC master plan and EIS. Scoping is a tool for identifying issues that should be addressed in the EIS. Scoping allows the public to help define priorities and express stakeholder and community issues to the agency through comments. Scoping allows GSA to gather early public input on the scope of the study, potential alternatives, and areas of concern. At the end of the presentation, we will provide you with a list of ways in which you can provide comments on the proposed master plan and EIS. Within the regulatory framework that will be described, GSA is proposing to implement a master plan to support the FDA at MRC. The master plan will provide FDA with a structured framework for developing the MRC over the next 20 years.
Hello, I'm Joan Glynn with Stantec Consulting Services. We are supporting GSA and FDA in developing the EIS documentation for the MRC master plan. In addition to preparing a master plan, the compliance activities under NEPA and Section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Act are also being conducted concurrently. A draft Transportation Management Plan, or TMP, is also being prepared to provide transportation management strategies to manage future commuting patterns of campus employees. GSA anticipates that a draft EIS for the MRC master plan will likely be available for public review and comment during summer 2021. During the same time frame, summer 2021, GSA anticipates that the National Capital Planning Commission, NCPC, will be reviewing the MRC draft master plan and draft transportation management plan. A final EIS and record of decision are tentatively anticipated for the mid to late 2022. NEPA is the nation's legislative charter for protection of the environment and provides for the consideration of environmental issues in federal agency planning and decision-making. NEPA requires GSA to prepare an EIS when a proposed action may significantly impact the quality of the natural and human environment. An EIS informs agency decision makers and the public about the potential environmental impacts of implementing the alternatives for the proposed action. Concurrent with the NEPA process, GSA has initiated consultation under Section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Act with the Maryland Historical Trust. Section 106 requires that federal agencies consider the effects of their actions on any district, site, building, structure, or object listed in or eligible for inclusion in the National Register of Historic Places. Section 106 review ensures that the preservation values are factored into federal agency planning and decisions. Section 106 also requires that GSA provide the public, agencies, and other interested parties the opportunity to comment on GSA actions impacting historic resources. GSA is integrating the public involvement processes for Section 106 and NEPA. Though scoping comments are due to GSA by February 11th, comments on the Section 106 process will be accepted throughout GSA's consultation with the Maryland Historical Trust, which is expected to be completed at the timeframe of the final EIS and record of decision in 2022. Under Section 106, the area of potential effects is the geographic area or areas within which an undertaking may directly or indirectly cause alterations in the character or use of historic properties. The draft area of potential effects for the MRC master plan encompasses the MRC campus. In 1981, GSA completed an EIS that analyzed the impacts from the construction of new laboratory space at the MRC, which included the consolidation of 4 facilities from the Washington, D.C. metro area and other sites in St. Louis, Missouri, and Cincinnati, Ohio. In 1990, Congress enacted the Food and Drug Revitalization Act that gave GSA the authority to award contracts to consolidate FDA facilities. To accommodate future growth and further consolidate FDA operations, GSA is preparing an EIS to assess the impacts of development at the MRC. There are currently 300 employees at the MRC. GSA and FDA are looking to add an additional 700 employees to the MRC in Phase 1 over the next 5 to 6 years. And during future development phases over the next 20 years, FDA and GSA propose to add an additional 800 employees, for a total population of up to approximately 1,800 employees. Currently, there are 480,000 gross square feet of existing office and laboratory space at the MRC. GSA and FDA are proposing to add an additional 458,000 gross square feet of office space and special use spaces. This proposed development is the subject of the current master plan. The purpose of the proposed action is to provide a master plan for the MRC to guide future site development. The proposed action is needed to accommodate projected growth at the MRC and provide the necessary office and laboratory space for FDA to conduct complex and comprehensive research and reviews. GSA is considering development alternatives on the MRC in the areas around the Mod 1 and Mod 2 buildings and around the Beltsville Research Facility, or BRF. Please refer to the map on this slide of the presentation for additional details on the site features. The project team is currently developing conceptual development alternatives that will be further refined once the scoping period is completed. The compact campus alternative focuses the new office development at Mod 1 and 2 and all new parking in 2 garages at the BRF. The dual campus alternative distributes development over 2 sites. This concept splits the new office development between Mod 1 and 2 and the BRF, with 1 new parking garage at Mod 1 and 2 and 1 new parking garage at the BRF. The Northeast Campus alternative reimagines the BRF with new development. This concept concentrates the new office development and all new parking in 1 garage at the BRF. The design team will take information received during the scoping period and further refine alternatives that will be studied in the EIS. A no-action alternative will also be studied in the EIS to provide a baseline to assess impacts. To assess the potential environmental impacts of each alternative, the design team has been conducting field investigations and collecting existing conditions data on a wide range of resource categories, including the natural, cultural, and social environments, as well as infrastructure and waste management. As previously stated, we are in the midst of the scoping period for the project. Scoping will end on February 11th. Following that time, GSA and the project team will move forward with the impacts analysis and the draft EIS development. By June 2021, GSA plans to release the draft EIS to the public for a period of 45 days to receive your comments on the analysis in the EIS and the project. GSA will also hold a public hearing during this 45-day period. At this time, due to the ongoing pandemic, we are unsure whether the hearing will be held virtually or in person. A final EIS is tentatively scheduled for mid-2022. Following completion of the EIS, a record of decision will be signed that will document the government's final decision on which alternative they will move forward with for the MRC. It is anticipated that the record of decision will be signed before the end of 2022. A final master plan and TMP will be submitted to NCPC for their review and approval during this time as well. This public scoping period provides you with the opportunity to comment on the proposed project, including potential alternatives, information, concerns, and analysis relevant to the proposed action. There are several different avenues for you to submit your comments. To provide written comments, you may mail or email them to GSA at the addresses listed here. We ask that you include the subject line MRC Master Plan and EIS Scoping Comment. Written comments must be postmarked by February 11th to be accepted. Lastly, you may provide comments to GSA through the project phone line at 410-777-9537. The phone line will be available to receive comments from January 4th through February 11th, 2021. Thank you. This concludes the MRC Master Plan Scoping presentation.